What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, well, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Soulbound reward card idea because I'm actually very much coming around to it. So yesterday in the town hall, and I covered this briefly in the town hall summary video. It's not really a summary, but 5 biggest takeaways video. The idea for these reward cards is to have them be unlockable after their print rate is done. So we don't know what the print rate is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be as high as the previous ones were, if they're going to lower it for the bear market and the current player base, or whatever the case is. But either way, it will be something that is unlockable. That is what they're leaning towards now. Now, keep in mind, they could always change their mind. So nothing is written in a post, nothing is set in stone, nothing has been voted on, but that is the way that they are approaching this right now. So one issue, because there's several issues that people were attacking this from, right, on different sides. If they weren't soulbound, then we would have the same issues, obviously. If they were soulbound and always soulbound, then you had the issue of, it's not really anti-competitiveness, but really just unfairness at some of the, at a later point, just because it's like, if I want an Alamo Cambio, and I've used this example before, if I want an Alamo Cambio, I can still go out and buy one now. Am I willing to pay $21 per BCX? Probably not, but somebody can if they want to, if they value it at that price. Whereas, in the future, people wouldn't be able to if the cards remain soulbound forever. Now, on the flip side, a lot of the criticism for soulbound reward cards being unlockable at the end of their print run or at any point in time is the fact that people don't think it's going to change a thing. And they're saying that bot farms are still going to remain, and these bot farms are still going to farm the cards and then just wait until they go out of their print rate and then dump them on the market. But I think one of the things that Aggie said yesterday, and this is something that I'm hoping gets a little bit more traction. He used a different wording than I would, but he said something like stake DEC on the cards. I don't know that I would stake DEC. What I would like to do is have a DEC burn mechanism as a way to unlock the cards. And maybe you can somehow fit vouchers in there if it makes sense. But if you look at the cards, right? So for example, I'm going to look at legendaries just because this is the easiest one to kind of exemplify. 500 power means that if I were to burn a Gen O'Shaughnessy today, I would get 500 DEC. And we're going to value DEC at PEG because that's where things are hoping, we're hoping things will go in the long run. So if we value 500 DEC at PEG, that is roughly, that's exactly 50 cents, right? So all of a sudden, it creates this floor for the cards. I would have to burn 50 cents of value in order to unlock this card and make it tradable or send it somewhere else or do something with it. And once I'm able to do that and turn it into a true NFT, the only reason that I would want to do that is if its value was higher, or if I didn't mind paying the 50 cents to give it to someone else, right? Let's say I wanted to gift it away or I wanted to do something with it. I could choose to pay that DEC or burn that DEC more specifically. So what is the idea behind this? Well, it's the idea behind it is simply that we are not pre-burning, but we are requiring a DEC burn for a card that can then be burned to get the DEC back. So worst case scenario, I burn 500 DEC to unlock this card. I sell it on the marketplace for hopefully something more than 50 cents at the time. Somebody buys it. If they want to burn that card for DEC, if the card value falls or for whatever reason, they would only add 500 DEC back into the mix. So it's a net zero of DEC that's coming into the equation. And what I actually think would happen in the long run is people would only unlock the cards if there was demand for it. And when I'm talking about people, I guess we're talking about bot farms. So, we wouldn't necessarily mind bot farms mining all of these cards or farming all of these cards, because when the print rate is done, and again, that'll probably be, 6 months, a year, however long, 18 months. But when the print rate is done, all of these bot farms, in order to unlock the cards and make them sellable, are going to have to burn a ton of DEC in order to just put them on the market. And the only reason that they will put them on the market is if the value is higher, right? There has to be a margin, a profit margin for them somewhere in that area, right? So for example, And we can go and see right now. I'm curious to see how much the other legendary reward cards are going for. But you have like Harclaw for right now, who is selling for less than his burn value, which is kind of crazy. Maybe I should go and scoop some of them up. But, if we have other cards that end up being in the, 80 cent to $2 range, sure, that will make them, that will give the incentive there. But now all of a sudden we are eating a ton of that value and burning DEC for it. So even in the worst case scenario, even if a bot farm has to come in and if a bot farm comes in and dumps a bunch of cards on the market, the only way they can do so is by burning a ton of DEC, right? So for example, if they want to unlock like a 1,000 Jin O'Shaughnessy's or whatever, they're going to have to burn that whatever 1,000 times 500 number is, right? In order to, they're going to have to burn that DEC to then put it on the market. And sure, they can sell it for $1.62 and make $1 a piece off of it. They'll drive the card values down for the time being, but what will they do for the rest of the economy? They'll burn a ton of DEC. They'll have to buy the SPS or have the SPS in their pockets and burn that SPS, so SPS becomes much more scarce. You see what I'm getting at here? It's still going to be a net positive, even if the asset values come down significantly once they hit the market. Now, again, what's the difference between then and now? You're thinking is like, well, it's really the DEC burn, because ultimately, sure, are they still going to make a ton of money? Absolutely. But now they have to make the business decision to see if the demand is there, burn the DEC necessary to put these cards on the market, and then compete with everybody else that's willing to do the same. Whereas at this point in time, they just farm it for free, right? It's a one-time cost of getting their bot farm set up, getting the cards acquired, getting whatever, but they don't have to pay anything else. They can get the cards and then they can sell them on the market for whatever value. At that point in time, sure, will the floor be somewhat artificial? Yes, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's like, well, we don't want them for trading below their burn value. So in order to unlock them, require the DEC burn to be put in right away. And then in the future, if anybody wants to burn these cards, we just get that 500 DEC back. And again, that goes for all the cards. So if you, all the rarities, I should say. So if we go all the way down to the what's this called? The common cards. That's what I meant. Common cards, I mean, these things only have 5 DEC. That's half a penny at peg. So I don't think that that's like a very high artificial floor for these cards. And if anything, it's going to be driven by demand. So this dumping on the market, again, no bot farm, in my opinion, right? Just from a logical business sound decision, no bot farm is going to pay up front to then dump on the market and get less in return. You know what I'm saying? Like, they will look at that and see, well, is it worth my time? Is it worth whatever to go and pay the upfront cost, knowing that I can make something back on the back end, right? So again, I'm really, really excited about this idea. Again, I would want them to implement both aspects of it. So soulbound while in print, unlockable after it is out of print, with a requirement of a DEC, maybe a voucher burn, because now we're starting to see a lot of crossover between DEC and vouchers. But either way, if it ends up being a net positive, right? And most of the time, I think it's going to be a net positive, because if new players are coming into the game, or other players, for example, let's say I played the entire time that it was in a print run, but I only got, we'll use Pellic Bandit. I only got, there we go. I only got, up to gold. So while I was playing, I was only able to acquire 220 BCX. Well, now I want to go out and buy it, right? And so I'll be looking for other people who are willing to therefore unlock the cards and then sell it at a reasonable rate so that I can max out mine. Or new players coming in that don't have any of these, that come in right after the print run is done. Again, I'm very open to you guys poking holes in this, but the more I think about it, the better it seems, and I'm very much for it. So for the people that were very, very against the idea of soulbound reward cards, and I know there were quite a few that are part of this community here, what are your thoughts on it now, if they're, again, not confirming, but at least leading on that it will be unlockable? And if it is unlockable for a fee, is that worth it to you, right? Is that something that checks all the boxes in your opinion? Because for me, it does, and I think it can do a lot of great things for this economy. Because ultimately, if the bot farms come in, right, and here's the beautiful thing, we're talking about the DEC supply a lot, but if the bot farms come in, they farm all these cards, and as they start to sell them, they burn the DEC and they sell them to players who have no intention of burning the cards to get that DEC back. Well, we're gravy then, because that becomes another huge DEC sink just to unlock these cards for newer players. And it's going to be something that benefits everybody involved, right? Bot farms still get to do their thing. They still get to farm the rewards cards. If the demand is there, then these new players coming in have access to the cards. They can pay a certain amount for the cards. The bot farms will have to unlock the amount, pay or burn DEC to unlock the cards. They go to the new player who values them and wants to play with them in the game. And that's it. Like, that's literally it. What is the net from all of that? DEC gets burned. I love it. I don't know. Let me know if I'm thinking about this the wrong way, but every way that I'm logically trying to explain it to you seems to make sense. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love, like I said, genuinely, I would love for you to poke holes in this if there are issues. But the way I see it, I'm really becoming a fan of it, and I'm glad that we're going to get these Soulbound Reward cards potentially as early as the end of the month. So that's all I have for you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day. We'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.